Lastly, you have a calendar. It's a basic scientific calculator that allows the user to do simple equations, but again, it gets the job done. As far as a smartphone goes, the Curve offers everything the user would need to have their management stored on their phone. Multimedia is a big aspect of the Curve, just like it was on the Pearl. We'll check out the media player here, which serves as a hub for all the different things you can do, such as music, videos, ringtones, and pictures, as well as voice notes. The music player is nice and simple. It is iPod-esque in its software. We'll go down to the artists, see what we have here. It'll then go to the albums by that artist, and then you have a list of all the different songs. Click on it, and it'll bring the player up. The player is attractive enough looking. We have it muted here, but as you can see, it displays the album art as well as the artist and song information. Scrolling the ball controls, and the volume rocker on the side does the volume. The video player is very similar. We'll check out the sample BlackBerry video here, and again, we'll see the player interface is the same. Since we're in full screen mode, the player controls will disappear while the video is playing. Video playback is nice and smooth, and we really have no complaints about it. The pictures serve as a very simple picture album. You can see we have our sample pictures loaded here, and you can simply scroll through. Selecting it brings it up full screen, and the user can choose to set it as their home screen or other options. We like the simplicity of the music player and the media application offered by the BlackBerry Curve. In addition, Sprint has included some extra features, such as the Sprint Music Store and Sprint TV. The Sprint Music Store gives users the ability to download music directly to their handset, as well as sideload music and play it in Sprint's player. Here we see the store interface. It's pretty simple. It's a little bit different graphically than your standard phone, although it does look the same on other smartphones such as Windows mobile devices. Searching for tracks is very easy. Simply scroll down to the bottom and you can choose the search option. Type in the user's name, hit the trackball, and you can search either title or artist or both. We can search the artist and it'll give us the different options. We can sort by song, artist, genres, or albums. Again, we'll pick a song and have it start playing. Similar to the BlackBerry player, the album art shows, as well as the artist information. It's really just another way to do the same thing, but it's nice that users have the option to download music over the air on the Sprint Curve. Sprint TV is the other exclusive application to the Sprint device. It's similar to any other Sprint TV application we've seen over the past year or so. You have the Sprint radio integrated into this as well, as you can see. We can choose something here. Let's go to CNN and see what they're streaming live. Again, this will pull up in the native media player to the BlackBerry application, and we'll go full screen after just a second. The video here is not quite as good as Verizon TV. It's only 15 frames per second as opposed to 30. But as you can see, the video is relatively smooth and the audio matches up. Like we said, it's not as good as Verizon's VCast TV service. However, that's not something that's offered on their Curve. So we'll give the advantage here to Sprint. For such a consumer-friendly and oriented device, we're not sure why Verizon doesn't include a lot of these features, such as TV, music, and instant messaging capabilities. One of the stumbling points of the Curve is its browser. We'll load it up here, It actually has pretty quick load times, something we didn't see with the Pearl, which we like to see. It does run over the EVDO Revision 0 network, so we would expect quick times. We'll pull up the history here and go to Phone Arena. Phone Arena is a fairly complex HTML site, and while the BlackBerry purports to actually handle HTML sites, as we'll see here in a minute, it kind of chokes up. The first thing you'll notice is that images don't load all the time. You can bring up the context menu and choose to load more or all images. For the sake of this, we won't load any, and we can save some time. One thing you do see is the mouse can move in all directions here. This is something we like to see implemented into the main menu, but for now we'll deal with it in the browser. It's not extremely ideal, however, for a large page like this. There are shortcuts, and we could hit B to get to the bottom of the page. One thing we notice is that right now you see a blank thing over here. However, when we roll over it, there's actually some text. We're not quite sure why the curve does this, but obviously users can miss information because of it. RIM does offer two views in this. We'll switch over to the page view and get more of a desktop type overlook. This is kind of like what you see in Opera Mini, however, it's still not rendered extremely well. You have the page overall, and you can scroll up and down. As you can see, the page isn't scrolling extremely smoothly, and I'm getting ahead of myself. This can be a little bit frustrating when browsing, especially with large pages. See, we want to look at this article here. We tap in, and we get the first zoom level, and then we tap in again, and we can get the second one. Now let's take a look at a more optimized cell phone page. Again, we'll go back to our history and pull up mobile YouTube. Being optimized for the phone, this one loads a lot quicker. This is basically a WAP site, and certain pages like ESPN still default to their WAP pages, which makes it a lot easier. We'll check out this first video here and show you that YouTube videos are able to play natively on the curve. However, they are a little bit small and don't take up the full screen. Even though we're in full screen mode, this is as large as it's going to get. The Sprint curve comes pre-packaged with consumer-friendly applications such as AOL Instant Messenger, Google Talk, and Yahoo Messaging. While the latter two are loadable on the Verizon curve, there is no indication in the Verizon manual, the Verizon website, or anywhere in the actual phone itself that this can be done. The user would have to go independently find these and load them on their device. And the AIM application, which is the most popular instant messaging application, is exclusive to Sprint. Also preloaded are applications like Facebook, another thing that Verizon users could load if they wanted to, but would have no idea that it even existed if they don't do their own research. Since the curve is marketed more towards the consumer, we don't know why Verizon chose to strip their phone of these features. Another thing that sets the phones apart is Sprint's multimedia suite of the Sprint Music Store and Sprint TV. Again, these are products that Verizon offers on their other phones, but have chosen to strip them from the curve. All in all, Sprint has a much more attractive and friendly device for the average consumer. The curve obviously has the features that any businessman is going to want, including push email and great PDA and calendar functions. However, this can be found on any BlackBerry, and what sets the curve apart is its supposedly consumer-friendly feature set. Sprint has chosen to run with this, whereas Verizon has neutered their phone, and in the end, we don't see why anybody, given the choice, would pick the Verizon curve over the